Nonverbal communication is often so much more powerful than words. And as teachers, we really need to be cognizant of what we do with our bodies and what message that conveys to our learners. If your body and your words do not give the same congruent message, you will really confuse the learner sitting in front of you. So when we think of nonverbal communication, we think with what you do with your eyes, your face, your hands, your body as a whole. And I'm quickly going to refer to some examples for each of these. Learners spend the greatest part of a lesson or a day looking at your face. What do they see? Do they see excitement, or do they see somebody who's really bored with what they have to do now? And sometimes you can, by just moving one little part of your face, communicate so effectively. If I just raise an eyebrow, I can say, are you sure that's the right thing to do? Or have you really thought about this? Or do you really think this is the correct answer? Or even, I really doubt what you are saying to me now. It's so important that we make sure that our face and our body and our words give the same message. Eye contact is a very powerful resource that a teacher can use effectively to ensure engagement in class. Make eye contact when you speak to your learners, and make sure that you try to make eye contact with as many of them as possible. It's not always easy in a very large class, but we do have to be aware of not only making eye contact with these few students sitting right in front of us. When we consider eye contact, we have to tell each other that it is an extremely culturally sensitive matter. In some cultures, eye contact is considered as a given. In other, not at all. So if you're an American, they would expect you to look you right in the eye while they are talking. Most Western people tend to think that if I do not make eye contact with you, I might be lying to you, or I might have something to hide. In other cultures like China or in Africa, eye contact is considered in another way. It might be respectful not to make eye contact with somebody, or prolonged eye contact can be considered as very offensive. So it is very important that you really know who you are working with and that you honor the cultural traditions, especially when it comes to eye contact. Your hands can also give clear messages. We've all seen this and we know exactly what it means. It means shh without making the sound. So you might be in the middle of working and you will just look at a child and make this motion and they will know exactly what you mean. You can also very effectively use clicking or clapping in your class to portray nonverbal messages. Our body language often tells learners exactly how we feel. We've all heard language experts say, if you cross your arms, you appear closed off. This is very true, and you immediately look more stern and formal. So try to be open and inviting, and that will really promote engagement in your classroom. If you stand with your hands on your hips, you are giving a very, very firm message that every child will understand. Proximity is so important. If you go back to the golden rules, you will remember there's one that says move your body, don't move your voice. If you stand in closer proximity to a child, you are really giving them a message as well. Please remember, do not touch children. That is really a danger zone. So rather just put your hand on your own arm and just stand close to the child so that they can feel you are in their space without invading their personal space. At the moment that a child might be having a conversation, you move into their proximity, they will highly likely stop because you are now in their space and you are telling them, I am seeing you and I am making a connection with you. Moving around can be very, very powerful. Please do not be that teacher who sits behind your desk all day long. If we want learners to be actively engaged, we need to be amongst them. So you do need to be able to walk around between your desks. If you cannot do that, please rearrange your classroom. I know this is sometimes easier said than done. If you have 60 desks, there's not a lot of space to walk, but then we can put desks at the front, bags at the front of the class. Try to be able to walk between your learners. That is going to give you a real sense of what is going on in your classroom. Use different levels. You will probably be taller than most of your learners. So use that. Sometimes get on a chair, make a statement, or go and sit with them on the carpet. But don't always be at exactly the same level. Sometimes when you really have to enforce classroom management, you want to be higher than your learners. So if they are sitting at their desks, you will be standing. But different levels helps us with different levels of management and control. Sometimes your most powerful tool of action is no action at all. Have you ever seen how the energy in a room can change the moment that you stay quiet? Even now you might feel it. So even if you're in the middle of a sentence, just stop and wait. And if that learner who's talking isn't very, very sharp, the one next to them is going to say, shh, she's seeing you. And the moment that you stay quiet, they become uncomfortable because something is changing and they want to know, but what's going on? And immediately you have their attention back. Or you can simply just look at your watch and tap on it. That gives a very strong message as well. So action or no action determines how you are going to manage your class. Most of these skills come with experience. It's not always so easy for a beginner teacher, but I really want to invite you to try some of these to ensure that you have different skills when it comes to classroom management, and you realize that you have different tools than just your voice.